best for the party, best for the country for me to stand down. Stand down. What do you mean stand down? If you're fighting for your country.
But why not just take him? I mean, if you can prevent him from running again, you can prevent him from serving now. Why wouldn't they just take him out or kill him? They're certainly capable of that. I think it's fair to say.
It would honestly be, okay, so let's say you'd say you're they, you're them, you're the
Democratic Party, and it's leaders, you're the money
machine,
people
right?
in the Democratic Party.
You would want, honestly, and not to give them advice, but wouldn't you want Kamala Harris to have some power of the bully pulpit, power of some kind of record to her name, because whatever record she has, the only things that she was associated with in the administration, other than this wild series of interviews, are the border. And there was that country in Europe, and they were having some issues in 2020. Oh, Ukraine, right? They gave her Ukraine and said that Chica's the one who flies to the Munich conference in February of 2022 and says, there is no question on my mind that Ukraine will definitely be in NATO. And
she caused the war in Ukraine.
Right. So Putin invades the next day.
Of course.
Right. And they give that to her because there's been a shade war going on between Biden and Kamala from day one of this administration. It's very clear. We've been reporting out of Human Events. I think everyone sees it now. Conspiracy theory, right? But it's so obvious they hate each other. So they were giving her these obviously will fail assignments and say, great, pin it on her. But the problem is that's all backfired now, because now if they want her to be the one who's got any credibility, who's going to be signing off on things, they know she's a complete nut job. And so you put something like that in office, and she's going to be signing off on the proxy war with Russia. She's going to be signing off on the proxy war with Iran, perhaps the direct war with China. Who knows what comes next? This is someone who's totally unstable. So what it tells me is that they don't quite have all their hooks in. But one of the things that I'm hearing, Tucker, is that there are people in the Democrat donor base who are thinking like what I'm saying right now, that it doesn't make any sense for us to say she should be president when she could be president right now. That if she's this wonderful, amazing
Why wouldn't she run as
president,
an incumbent? I've thought that since July 1st when I talked to a very knowledgeable Democrat. Of course, take Biden out, make her president. She's running from the Oval Office. Like, why wouldn't you want that?
The only thing I could think of is this perhaps was part of the deal they made with the Bidens. We'll let you run out the clock.
Yeah, but I mean, these are people who are, willing to do anything, say anything.
I don't think that deal's going to last.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think it lasts at all.
So Hunter Biden is facing felony tax charges, I think, in October. I think that's right. I could be
for about 5 more minutes.
Exactly. So you just pardon Hunter Biden, clean up the messes, make sure that Jill Biden has enough money to live in Rehoboth for the rest of her life. And it's not hard. And take him out. I mean, it does seem like the logic train leads you to President Kamala Harris very quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because that way it gives you the power of she's the first woman president. How are you? And you can dig into this chronic propaganda that we've been surrounded by, that women are better than men, that women should be first, that women should have all the power in society. Well, here is the first woman president, and how dare you run against the first woman president?
I wonder if anyone buys that anymore.
Some people do.
It's interesting. I mean, I was kind of agnostic on the question, but we haven't seen big successes from female leaders. And I say that as a lover of women, but I mean, it's at some point, if you make a claim, you do kind of have to substantiate it. And
like, for example, I don't know, female Secret Service agents.
No, but I'm just saying, like, where is the evidence for that? I mean, I'm talking about specifically political leadership. Obviously, you shouldn't have what we saw on last Saturday in Butler Township. Obviously, that was insane. But like everyone, of female political leaders will be more conciliatory. There'll be more peace, less war. You've seen exactly the opposite. The Ukraine war was driven by a woman, actually, Victoria Nuland. Hillary Clinton is the most bloodthirsty person I've ever seen on the public stage. Like Madeleine Albright, a total ghoul.
No, a million Iraqi children.
And
so what?
Nasty and stupid. I knew Madeleine Albright, nasty, stupid person also. But leaving that aside, there doesn't seem to be any evidence for these claims at all. In fact, the opposite appears to be true, unless I'm missing something. I mean, I guess you're not supposed to say this because the idea is so important that you can't marshal evidence for or against. You just have to accept it. But I'm a free man, and I just don't see any evidence that female leadership is more likely to get us to peace than male leadership. I see the opposite evidence.
There's even some scholarship that, you know, we actually do have a track record of this, because if you look at, for example, the Kingdom of England, and so the United Kingdom, they've had kings and queens for several centuries now, and at one point, obviously, the throne had real power. Not now. I don't really sure the communists seem to have real power in England right now. Farage is doing a great job, but that remains to be seen. There's some scholarship that shows that when England had a queen, they were actually more likely to go to war, whereas when England had a king, they were more likely to seek peace through diplomatic means.
That does not surprise me based on what I've seen in the United States over the past 20 years. So I don't think, look, as long as we're throwing out all of our standards and norms and traditions and we're starting at year zero, which is clearly the goal here. When Kamala says, we're unburdened by the past, what she's really saying is,
right. That's Pol Pot.
Welcome to Kampuchea, exactly. Then we should just be completely honest about everything all the time. Why not? I mean, they already would kill you if they could, so why not just be totally honest? And I'm just kind of interested in this idea of female political leadership being this thing that it demonstrably isn't. And so why does the right feel like we have to go along with these pieties, which are clearly lies? Like, why? Let's just stop doing that.
Well,